As many of you guys have asked, today we are revealing the 10 real reasons why we left Canada. So get comfy, grab your favorite drink, and let's get into it. Before I dive into the main reasons, let me explain how we came to this decision. Initially, we thought about moving to the US because we thought it might be easier. We share a language and much of our culture with them. Plus, my family is there, which made it seem appealing. But as we looked into it more, we realized the US had the similar issues to Canada, maybe even worse. The politics and economy didn't match our values. So, after thinking about what really means a lot to us, we chose to make Spain our new home. It seemed like a better fit, offering a fresh start and a place that matched our values and lifestyle better. Finding the perfect balance between work and personal life is a challenge many of us face. In Canada, it felt even tougher. We were always working, missing out on times with family and friends, and not looking after our own health. Since we ran our own business, our schedules were packed. We barely had time to travel or take breaks. Every day was about work, and we never found the right time to take a short break. Not being able to travel or relax made us feel like we were missing out on a lot of fun things in life. This imbalance made us think hard about what needed to change. It wasn't just about earning money or getting ahead in our jobs. It was about being with our loved ones, staying healthy, and seeing new places. Over time, we saw big changes in Canada. It used to be known for letting people speak freely and share different ideas. This openness and welcoming of a different views what was we loved about Canada. But slowly we noticed more rules, less chance to say what we think, and more control over the news and information. This increase in controlling what news we could see or share worried us.
Creeping totalitarianism. It gives the power to a woke agency, the CRTC, named by liberals, to manipulate social media algorithms in order to shut down voices it does not want people to hear.
At the same time, Canada was letting a lot of new immigrants and international students, which should be good. But prepping for their arrival, like making sure there was enough housing, healthcare, and other basics, didn't seem well planned. Even though Canada was friendly, it didn't feel fully ready to support these newcomers, leading to overcrowded houses and not enough support.
Refugees forced to sleep on the streets of Toronto after funding for a housing program ran out.
This mix of feeling less free, including not getting to see all kind of news, and the struggle for resources made us feel disconnected. It was more than just not agreeing with a few new rules. It felt like the country's core values and foundations were changing. It felt like the country was starting to control us, taking away our sense of freedom and choice. This wasn't the Canada we remembered. After COVID-19, Canada has faced a tough time. While we are aware of similar rises in crime in other countries, Canada was known for its exceptional safety before. There has been a noticeable surge in car theft and home invasions and crime in general, which is deeply concerning.
More than 100 bullets sprayed.
Well, Toronto is grappling with a sharp rise in auto thefts. Last year, more than 12,000 vehicles were stolen across the city at a value of almost $800 million. That's 34 incidents per day, or about one every 40 minutes.
With all of these break-ins happening, for those who haven't heard or seen this, again, here it is.
To prevent the possibility of being attacked in your home, leave your fobs at your front door. Because they're breaking into your home to steal your car. They don't want anything else. A lot of them that they're arresting have guns on them, and they're not toy guns, they're real guns. They're loaded.
People used to feel secure and safe, but now There's more fear and concern about crimes. It's a significant change for a country that prides itself on safety and security. Being aware of a global inflation crisis that hit after COVID-19 pandemic, I understand that no corner of the world was spread from its effect. However, living in Canada and particularly trying to keep a small business afloat brought a unique set of challenges that felt more intense than other countries. While inflation was a universal issue, the level at which it impacted Canada seemed to be on another scale, affecting us deeply both as a citizen and as a small business owner.
Half of Canadians, 51%, are spending more time at home to save money, and a third are spending less time socializing. The new social phenomenon is called inflation isolation.
Now I make $34 an hour. I can't function. I can't function. I can't pay my bills. I can't even literally keep gas in my car to get to work 3 days a week.
In places like Toronto, the cost of living had always been high. But with inflation, it skyrocketed to unprecedented level. For a small business owner, this wasn't just about facing higher rent and utility bills. It was about every aspect of running the business becoming more expensive, from the cost of raw material to the price of shipping. Everything increased, is squeezing the margin tighter and making it harder to turn a profit. This situation led us to consider a significant change. The pressing economic conditions in Canada impacting both our personal finances and overall quality of our life urged us to think about relocating. We began to look for a place where the cost of living was more in line with what we could manage and where the impact of global inflation was perhaps less severe. It became clear that for our well-being and financial health, finding a new environment that offered a more balanced lifestyle was essential. Seeing homelessness and poverty up close really made us stop and think. Living in downtown Toronto, we faced these issues every single day. Walking down the street, we would often see people who didn't have homes to go to or who were struggling with addiction and mental health.
Toronto's shelter system has been at capacity for years, leaving people on the street with no place to go.
The homeless population in Canada could be 3 times higher than current estimates.
It was heart-wrenching to witness and became a part of our daily life. This situation opened our eyes to the bigger picture of what was happening around us. It wasn't just about noticing people in need. It was about realizing that the system that we have in place to help those people might not be working. It made us wonder why in such a developed country we are still facing these significant problems, and what is said about what we valued as a country. Every day, dealing with these realities, we started to ask more questions. Why were so many people left without the help they needed? Where were the gaps in our social safety nets? Living among these challenges didn't just change the way we saw the city, it changed the way we thought about the government's role in caring for its most vulnerable members. It pushed us to think about what the governments could do better as a collective to address these deep-rooted issues that was affecting all of us directly and indirectly. Canada is often known for its free healthcare system, but getting the medical care you need when you need it can be really tough. When I or someone I knew had to go to emergency room, We would often wait for hours and hours before seeing a doctor. And it wasn't just about waiting in the ER. Trying to find specialists for specific health issues was another big challenge.
The latest Ontario health data shows the average wait time in ERs was 20 hours before the patient got a bed. People across the country are dealing with record-level wait times when trying to access healthcare services. From emergency rooms to surgical queues, there's a backlog of patients, and things will get a lot worse, according to the head of the Canadian Medical Association.
Sometimes it felt like you needed to navigate a maze just to get an appointment. Finding a family doctor was another story. It seemed like there was always a long list of people waiting to get a primary care physician, someone who knows your health history and whom you could trust with your health care. This situation made it difficult to get regular checkups or timely advice when you felt unwell. These challenges with the healthcare system meant that even though healthcare is supposed to be accessible to everyone, in reality, getting the care you needed when you needed it was often complicated and frustrating. It made us think about the importance of having reliable and timely healthcare, something that was becoming increasingly hard to find. The winters in Canada may look pretty in photos, but living through them is a whole other story. You would think after 22 years you would get used to the cold, but it never got easier. The endless chill and long dark nights started to get to us. At first, the snow and the cold air felt magical, like a scene from a storybook. But the charm wore off. We began to miss the warmth and sunshine. The cold became a big issue. It made everything more difficult. We dreamed of living somewhere warm and sunny all the time. But wanting more sun wasn't just about not liking the cold. We wanted a lifestyle where the weather didn't stop us from going outdoors. The tough winters kept us inside too much, make us feel down and less happy. We realized we missed the ease of just stepping outside without layering up. Our wish to move was about finding joy in our daily lives, in a place where the weather makes us happy, not gloomy. Canada is beautiful, but it's really far from places like Europe, Middle East, East Asia, and Africa. Going to these places means long flights and lots of planning because they're so far away. It's hard to see all the interesting history, cultures, and places in those areas. But in Europe, countries are much closer together. You can easily visit different countries on weekends, see historic places, enjoy art, and try new food without the long travel times from Canada. Being closer to Europe and Asia, it's great not just because it's easier, but it's let us connect with the world better. We can turn our dream of exploring into real life, learning about new culture as part of our daily lives. That's a big reason why we wanted to move away from Canada for a new adventure. The COVID-19 pandemic changed a lot about how we act and feel, especially in big cities. Before, people seemed more patient and kind, but after the pandemic, we noticed more people feeling angry and upset. It wasn't just about being mad at small things. It was like everyone was carrying a heavy load of stress and worry that made them snap more easily. This change made something we saw in the street, in stores, and even among friends and family. But it wasn't just the anger that stood out to us. The pandemic really hurt people's mental health too. A lot of us were stuck inside, away from friends and activities that we loved, which made us feel lonely and sad. Even after things started to open up again, that sadness and loneliness didn't just disappear. It was like the pandemic left a big shadow over us, making it hard for some people to find their way back to feeling happy and okay. Living through this time made us think hard about what's important for staying healthy, not just in our bodies, but in our minds too. We started to look for a place that felt more positive and supportive, a community where people understood how tough the pandemic was for everyone and were working together to make things better. Witnessing how the pandemic changed us showed us how important it is to be in an environment that helps us heal and grow stronger, especially when it comes to our mental health. The biggest reason why we decided to leave was because we wanted to grow more as a person. Living in the same place for a long time made us feel stuck, like we were in a box. We really wanted to try new things, meet different people, learn about ourselves in a way we couldn't if we stayed put. We were looking for a chance to grow, to stretch our limits, and to discover parts of ourselves that we didn't know existed before. Leaving Canada wasn't just a small decision, it was a huge leap towards finding who we really are and what we truly want from life. We were searching for more than just new places. We were looking for better opportunities, chances to do things we would never done, to work on projects that excites us, and to build a life that feels truly ours. We chose Ibiza because we wanted a quieter life away from busy cities. We were tired of all the noise and hustle, so we sought a simpler and calmer existence. Ibiza gave us the quiet and peace we were looking for, allowing us to escape the chaos and stress of urban living. Surrounded by nature and more laid-back environment, which is exactly what we were looking for. Thank you for tuning in and see you next time.